Okay, for this beginning part, we've already gone over it, so I'm going to gloss over it here real quickly for you. Okay, we're going to gloss over it real quickly, so that way, again, we're not spending too much time going over what we've already done. All right, and then you'll obviously see where we got to the blanks, and we'll fill those in together, or I'll call on people to fill those in for us. Okay. So again, if you just joined us, you're going to go to Classroom. You're going to grab the material that I just posted. It's not an assignment, okay? You do not have to turn it in. This is solely for you, okay? It's solely for you. So I'm going to share my screen, and give me a second here. Perfect. Okay, so your notes should obviously be this, okay? And I said we talked about this, and maybe it wasn't as neat, so I put it together for you in a much neater fashion here. Okay, so we talked about the 3 types of bonds, okay, ionic, metallic, covalent, the elements that are involved in them. Okay, we talked about the electron behavior in the bonds, right? So for ionic metal, or electrons go from metal to non-metal. In metallic, it loses the electron and becomes delocalized. And then in covalent, it's a non-metal and a non-metal, and they share those valence electrons. Okay, and the goal of all 3 of these types of bonds here, the goal of all 3 of these types of bonds is to get to that stable electron configuration, right? Those 8 valence electrons. Right, so that is the goal, is to get to those stable valence electrons, and they all do it through 3 different means. Again, ionic, one gives it away, one takes it in. Metallic just says, take it, I don't even want it. And then covalent says, all right, well, we both need it, so let's share here, okay? Can you give me a reaction thumbs up if you understand what I'm saying, if you feel confident with where we're at so far? Give me a reaction thumbs up.
Miss Judy.
Yes, sir.
What are we filling in exactly?
We're going to get there. We've already done this.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. No, thank you for clarifying. I just said that the notes that we took last on Tuesday were a little bit more disjointed and not as organized. So I put it together for you guys in a more organized fashion.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, cool. So I saw a lot of thumbs up, so let's keep rolling here then. All right, so naming compounds, right? This is going to be helpful for you moving forward, all right? Ionic and metallic, we've already done, okay? Ionic is very simple. It's metal, then non-metal. Pretty much the metal has no change except maybe adding a Roman numeral if it's in the D or the F block. And then for non-metals, we're going to add an IDE. So if you look over here, we have a couple examples. And we'll do a couple more if we need it. All right, metallic though, right? There is no change to the metallic, except the only difference is saying something is pure versus something is an alloy, okay? If it is an alloy, it means it's not pure, pretty much, right? So in our example here, I said we have pure gold and blue, and then when we start adding maybe green, I said is silver, it becomes a gold alloy. So again, this is the difference between like 6 karat and 24 karat gold. Right, so the purity of the metal is what a huge difference is. And again, that also drives up cost, right? It's obviously more difficult to get something that is pure than to get something that is mixed, okay? And then I think this is where we ended here, so that's why these notes are blank here, okay? So for covalent, it says the rules for this we talked about is you're going to change the ending of the second element to IDE, right? So that should be pretty familiar, okay? But we're going to add prefixes to both the first and the second element, okay? So the only exception to that is if there's a 1 on the first element, okay? So what we are going to do is we're going to fill this in together here, okay? So for example, Thomas, you with us? Thomas?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, Thomas, you're going to do some of these. Ochoa, you're going to do some of these, and Gentile, you're going to do some of these. So, Thomas, what's bromine go to if I'm changing it to end in IDE?
Oh, bromide.
Bromide. Perfect. Fluorine.
Chloride.
Correct. Okay, and gentlemen, you should be filling these in with us as we go. Thomas, last one here.
Chloride.
Perfect. Okay, Ochoa, what does iodine become?
Yeah. Iodide.
Perfect. What does sulfur become?
Or sulfide? What
Correct.
Is or
Yep, you're right. Sulfide. And last one here. What does this become?
of phosphide.
Correct. Phosphide. Perfect. Okay. Gentile. What does nitrogen become?
Nitride.
Good. Nitride. What's carbon become?
Carbide.
Carbide. And then here's a new one. Take a guess. What do you think hydrogen becomes?
Hydride.
Yeah. Good. Hydride. Get rid of that OGEN and we become hydride. Good. Okay. Vince, you're going to help me out with these prefixes here. Okay. So for prefixes, Vince, what is one? What's a prefix for one?
Mono,
Good. Mono, then?
di,
Okay. 3 is?
tri,
Good. 4 is?
tetra,
Tetra. Good. Tetra. 5 is?
penta,
Good. 6 is?
hexa,
All right, let's finish the rest of them. What's 7?
hepta,
Good. Hepta. 8 is?
octa,
Octa. 9?
nona,
Nana. And 10 is?
deca.
Deca. Okay, perfect. All right, so I asked you to do a worksheet and we're gonna go over the answers to that worksheet here, okay? But this is IDE elements, right? So I just wanted to go over these specifically because I understand we're having like issues with spelling and where to take off letters. Okay, so these right here are pretty much the most common ones we're gonna use, okay? So if we use one outside of there, we'll address it as we come up to it, all right? These prefixes though will never change, okay? So I'm not saying you have to memorize them, but use them. We're gonna use them a lot here and try not to rely a ton on cheat sheets, okay? If you can start to remember these, great, but do not spend a ton of time memorizing them, okay? So, good job, gentlemen. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over basically the 2 conditions, okay, for naming covalent compounds. We said if the first element is alone, which means if there is no number here, there's no number associated with that first element, we're gonna call it alone here. All right, so let me see. McEwen and Zedek, are you here?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, McEwen, I'm gonna do this first one. Okay, so we're saying if the first element is alone, number 1, step 1 says write the name of the first element. So this is going to be carbon, okay? Then number 2 says use the prefix of the second and write the element. So the prefix for 1, since it's by itself, is mono. And I'm gonna write oxygen, O-X-Y-G-E-N, all right? Then rule 3 says I'm gonna change that ending to an IDE, okay? So I erase the YGEN and I change it to IDE. So this becomes carbon monoxide. Okay, so CO is carbon monoxide. All right, and hopefully you've heard about that. Okay, it's what comes out of your cars. The exhaust on your cars is carbon monoxide. I believe you all should have one of these sensors in your house to detect it. All right, Mr. McEwen, hit me with the next one. What am I going to do for NO2?
It would just be nitrogen dioxide.
Good. It is nitrogen dioxide. Perfect. Zedek, can you do number 3 for me?
Yeah.
Perfect. What is it?
Sulfur. What is P?
Phosphorus.
All right. Sulfur triphosphate.
Perfect. Sulfur triphosphide. Perfect. Okay. So that's what we do if that first element is alone here. Okay. Andrew and George, you're gonna do the next 2 if you've got mics. Andrew and George. All right.
Yeah.
We're gonna say for this next one here, the next condition is if the element has more than 1. If the first element does not have a 1, so a 2, 2, 4, right? So if I do this first one here, Rule 1 says write the prefix and the name of the first element. So it's a 2, so it's going to be dinitrogen. Okay, dinitrogen. Then rule 2 says use the prefix of the second and write the second element. So 6 is hexa. All right, I've got hexa, oxygen. And then the third rule says change the ending to an IDE. So I have dinitrogen hexoxide. All right.
I can do the next one.
Perfect, George. Go hit me up. What is it?
Dihydrogen oxide.
You're missing something. What's the prefix for 1?
Mono. Monoxide.
Yeah, perfect. Right? With the second element, we cannot forget the prefix, okay? We cannot forget the prefix. All right? Who did I say was doing this next one here? Andrew, you with me?
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, well, what's the prefix for 4?
Tetra.
So it'd be tetra sulfide?
No.
Sulfur.
Look at your rules here. Write
Sulfur.
the prefix and the name. There you go. Tetra, sulfur.
Yeah.
7 is hepta.
So hepto. Heptachloride.
Correct. Right? So that is tetrasulfur heptachloride. Okay? I know that is an insane mouthful here. Okay? But that's the official chemical name for that. Okay? Same thing. The second one that George just did is dihydrogen monoxide. Okay? Every other human being in the entire world is just going to call that water. Okay? But we have to know how to specifically name things. All right? Good. Now, before we get to finishing the rest of these notes, I am going to open up the homework you guys were supposed to do. Okay? So we're going to roll through these answers here. And like I said, I'm just going to call on some random people if they can. So, Mr. McQuinn, you got a mic for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, McQuinn, can you give me this first one here? Connor,
Yeah.
can you give me the first one here?
Would it be
Let's take a look here, McQuinn. Okay, so there's no number right there. Okay, so we're gonna follow the rules for if it was starting with a 1. Okay, so let me give you a hint. Okay, we would write carbon since there's no number. So this one becomes carbon, and I'll finish this one off for you so you can do the next 2. Right? There's a 2 with the oxygen. So I write out di, and then I write out oxide, right? Because that second element has to end in that IDE. Okay, so the answer for this, and I'll rewrite it. Sorry, my pen was a little bit large. That becomes carbon dioxide. All right. So for the next one, is there a subscript that goes along with the first element?
no
No. So I just write out what?
carbon dioxide?
Almost. With the second one, we have to write out the prefix no matter what. So what's the prefix for 1?
Mono?
Yep. Monoxide. There you go. Carbon monoxide. All right, try this next one, McQuinn. SO2 become?
Sulfur, and then is that oxide? So it'd be dioxide, sulfur dioxide.
Good. Sulfur dioxide. All right, finish this last one off, Connor. What's SO3?
Sulfur. What's the prefix for 3?
Tri, like a tricycle.
Trioxide?
Correct. Oh, except I spelled it wrong. Perfect. Good job, McQuinn. Okay. Jack, you're going to do the next couple with me. Okay. So again, just to remind ourselves, since this one has a 2, we have to include the prefix. So, Jack, what's this first one, or what's number 5?
Dinitrogen oxide.
Dinitrogen. Except you forgot. What's the prefix for 1?
Oh, monoxide.
Correct, right? We cannot forget the prefix on the second one. Now, Jack, look at this next one here. Is there a prefix, or sorry, is there a subscript on the N?
No.
So we don't write it out for the first one. So what are we going to write?
Nitrogen monoxide.
Nitrogen monoxide. Good. Okay, let's do 2 more here. Okay, 7. It has that subscript. So what am I going to write?
Dinitrogen. What's the prefix for 3?
Tri.
Trioxide.
Good. Dinitrogen trioxide. Good. Dinitrogen trioxide. David, you're going to help me with the next couple after Jack finishes this last one. Jack, finish number 8. What is it going to be?
Nitrogen dioxide.
Good. Nitrogen dioxide. Perfect. All right. David, you got a mic?
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay, what's 9 going to be?
I'm pulling it up. Oh, I know it's dinitrogen
Good.
and then tetraoxide.
Correct. Dinitrogen tetraoxide. Okay. What's 10 become?
Dinitrogen pentaoxide.
Dinitrogen pentaoxide. Good. Okay. What's this number 11?
Phosphorus
Correct.
trichloride.
Good. And then one more, and then Mikey's going to take over. What's 12?
And phosphorus again. And pentachloride.
Good. Sorry. Phosphorus pentachloride. Good. Mikey, what's 13?
Nitrogen, and then it would be trihydride.
There you go. Trihydride. Good. What's SCl6?
Sulfur, and then hexachloride.
Good. Good work. Okay. Do 2 more here. What's 15?
So diphosphorus, pentaoxide.
Yep. Good. Good. Right. Good. All right. Last one. What's CCl4?
What's CC?
Capital C by itself is carbon, and then capital C lowercase l is chloride.
All right, so carbon tetrachloride.
Correct. Hunter, you got a mic?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Let's finish these last 4 for me.
Okay.
Si is silicon.
All right. Silicon oxide.
There's a 2 there.
Oh,
So silicon. What's the prefix for 2?
Yeah, no. I don't know.
It's di. Okay. And then I finish it off with an oxide.
Yeah, I said oxide. That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Okay. All right.
No, I didn't put dioxide. That's what I didn't put. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Okay, let's try this again. So what's CS2?
Carbon,
Jeez Louise, sorry. Got freaked out.
and then
Carbon. You're right. Keep going. Even though my pen's
disulfide.
yes. Carbon disulfide. Good. It's freaking out on me. Sorry. All right, I'll write it underneath. Carbon disulfide, right? So you guys can fill that in if you need it. Oh my goodness. Freaking out. Okay, it is carbon disulfide. Good. All right. What's OF2?
Oxygen difluoride.
Good. Oxygen difluoride. ORIDE. Okay. Final one here. PBr3.
Phosphorus tribromide.
Good. Phosphorus tribromide. Perfect. Okay. So yes, I will post this answer key. I will obviously post it with nicer handwriting so you can read it and clean, and it's all clean and stuff. But I will post that when we're done with class here. Now, I got a question in the chat and it says, when do you put mono? Okay. So if I take us back to our notes here, right? We have two rules. Okay. We have two rules. If the first element is alone, and if the first element has a subscript or there's more than one of them, okay? So again, if that first element is alone, you do not put mono as a prefix, okay? You do not put mono as a prefix. But if the second element is alone, right? So again, in this first example here, we have CO. Okay, carbon is by itself and oxygen is by itself. We have one carbon, one oxygen. All right, but because carbon is first, we do not put the mono. All right, so you put carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. All right, now taking us back to our notes because we're going to finish it off before I release you to do your assignment. But before we continue, are there any other questions with that? If you've got no questions, give me a reaction thumbs up so I can see that you're good and ready to go here. Perfect, perfect. Okay, awesome. And again, per usual, if you messed up on your assignment with naming, I don't care, right? We went over it together. If you want to fix it, you can, but you do not need to fix it and re-upload it, okay? As long as you gave me effort the first time, that's all I'm looking for. All right? Now, the last part of this here is we're going from names to formula. Okay, we're going from names to formula. So what you do is you write the elements in the order of the appearance and you write the subscripts for the element if they have a prefix. And I'm saying mono is the only exception. Okay, so by that I mean if we look at sulfur trioxide, okay, you're going to write S for sulfur first. Oxide, we know, is oxygen, and that prefix tri means I have three of them. Okay, so I have sulfur trioxide, SO3. SO3. Okay, Ralph, you got a mic? Oh, Ralph.
Yeah.
You got a mic for me?
Yeah.
Perfect. What would be dinitrogen pentoxide?
Nitrogen like with a 2,
Perfect.
and then oxygen with a 5.
Done. Okay, do the next one. What is selenium tetrabromide? Selenium is Se.
Just the SC like with nothing,
Perfect.
and then
What's
I'm not sure about what.
what's bromine?
I'm not sure. I'm
Okay,
not sure what tetra is.
tetra is 4.
Oh, and then brominium or something. I don't know.
Bromine, and there's 4 of them, right?
All right.
So the way you read tetrabromide is saying there are 4 bromines. Okay, there are 4 bromines. And sorry, that's an O. Okay, so we represent that by putting Br4. All right, Ryan, why don't you finish off these last 3 for us? So nitrogen monoxide. Okay, nitrogen monoxide, Ryan, what am I gonna write?
So that would just be NO.
Correct, NO, right? Especially because we said in our exceptions above, right? We said mono is the only exception, so we're not going to write the 1. What is hexasulfur heptabromide?
It'd be S6 and then hepta's 5, right?
Hepta's 7.
7, so then BR7.
Perfect. S6BR7. All right, what's this last one here?
And then it would be C8 and then CL9.
Perfect. C8CL9. Okay, C8CL9. Any questions here, gentlemen? Hopefully this seems pretty easy here. Okay. Now, what we are going to do, you have about 12 minutes left in class. So more than enough time to get at least a good jump start on the assignment that I'm going to release, which, let me pull it up for you. Okay. So it is putting together all the things that we have just talked about and just done. Okay. Because what I want to remind you is tomorrow, we are going to go over the answers, obviously, to this worksheet, answer any questions you all have on naming and formulas for covalent compounds. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to release a baby quiz to you all. Okay, so it's going to be a baby quiz. So that way we are completely finished with chapter 7. We can go into spring break and not have to worry about remembering all of this stuff come the next 2 weeks. All right. So again, I know I'm sorry I'm giving you a quiz on a Friday, but my goal is that we can get that done and completed before class is over. Again, I say baby quiz, it's going to be like 5 questions or less, but not as involved as the last questions. Okay. So again, please don't hate me, trying to be fair and honest here, but I promised you 2 baby quizzes that you can use your notes on. So that is our plan here. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you for a second. Okay, so here's the assignment that's going to get released. All right, I'm saying you got to handwrite the answers. Okay, you got to handwrite the answers using Notability, paper, or some other note-taking app. All right, I do not want typed answers. I'm not going to grade those. Okay, so these up here, it gives you the prefixes. Okay, gives you the prefixes, and it gives you these structures. Okay, and if I can't, let me zoom in here. Okay, you can see it says N, and then there's 3 I's there. Okay, there's an SI, and then there's F's, right? So for question 1, it's saying the table shows this. Okay, you're going to answer the question. Okay, for number 2, it's saying in each molecule, tell how many atoms are present, write the name, and then it gives you some rules like using the prefixes, central atom, etc. For 3, it says each compound listed below, tell how many there are. So if it's P4, it's going to be 4 phosphoruses, okay? And then you're going to name the compound, all right? And then finally, number 4 here says write the formula for each compound listed below, okay? Write the compound for each element listed below. Yes, Patrick, this worksheet is going to be due tomorrow, but you have 10 whole minutes to finish it right now. Okay, so I would suggest you stay on, you finish it. I'm going to stay on in video chat with you all. So if you have questions, we can answer them together if you've got them. All right. Any other questions here? Okay, so that is released. I did not make it as an editable PDF, okay? And the reason that is we all know Google right now is not running at full capacity. So I don't want you to do the entire thing and then tell me that Google erased your answers, okay? So either do it on Notability, on paper, or some other note-taking app. Questions, comments, or concerns? All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna stay on here, but you do not have to say anything for the rest of class. Stay on though, just in case someone has a question, we can all hear the exact same answer. All right, go work on that assignment. I'm here if you need me.